Let's be brutally honest. America has a sandwich obsession. We eat over 6 billion sandwiches every year. That's roughly 20 sandwiches per person annually. It's the ultimate grab-and-go meal, the lunch counter hero, and the solution to every "what should we eat" argument. But here's the thing. Not all sandwich shops are created equal. Some craft beautiful, fresh ingredient masterpieces with quality meats and artisan bread that make you close your eyes and savor every bite. Others serve up sad, processed failures wrapped in stale bread that leave you questioning your life choices and wondering why you didn't just make lunch at home. So today we're going beyond the obvious national chains, and we're ranking the signature subs from America's 15 most famous sandwich shops from absolute worst to best. This ranking isn't based on marketing budgets, childhood nostalgia, or how many locations they have scattered across the country. We're talking pure taste, fresh ingredients, quality sourcing, and the kind of customer satisfaction that makes you a regular instead of a regretful one-timer. So subscribe, like, and grab some napkins, because number one is a no-brainer and clearly controversial. Let's start with the most obvious failure. Starting at the bottom, we've got Quiznos and their classic Italian. This chain is like that restaurant that peaked in 2005 and never recovered. The toasted concept was ahead of its time, but execution has become a mess. The Italian meats taste processed and salty, the cheese doesn't melt properly, and the bread often comes out either burnt or soggy. There's no middle ground. With only about 148 locations left in the US, mostly on the West Coast, Quiznos has contracted so dramatically that finding one feels like discovering a relic. When a chain shrinks that much, it usually tells you everything you need to know about the food quality. The classic Italian is a shadow of what it used to be, and honestly, that's being generous. Mr. Submarine's Super Sub lands at number 14, representing Chicago nostalgia with some genuine old-school charm. Limited to about 20 to 30 stores in the Chicago metro area, Mr. Sub has that authentic neighborhood deli vibe that locals remember fondly. When they're on their game, the Super Sub actually delivers decent Italian meats and fresh vegetables on bread that's baked locally. The portions are generous. You're definitely getting your money's worth. And there's something to be said for that old-school Chicago sandwich shop experience, where the guy behind the counter knows your order. The Italian beef influence shows up in their seasoning, which gives their subs a distinctly Chicago flavor profile. The problem is consistency. Some locations still maintain that neighborhood quality that made Mr. Sub a local favorite, while others feel like they're just going through the motions. When it's good, you understand the nostalgia. When it's not, you wonder why you didn't just go to Portillo's. Erbert and Gerbert's Boney Billy claims number 13 with creative names that can't quite overcome limited impact. With about 70-plus locations scattered across Wisconsin and Minnesota, E&G's has that upper Midwest charm and quirky sandwich names that make you smile. The Boney Billy is their turkey and ham combo, and it's actually decent when executed properly. The bread is fresh, the meats are quality, and the vegetables are crisp. The problem is that being a regional player in just 2 states severely limits their influence and consistency across locations. It's a solid sandwich that deserves more recognition, but geography is destiny in the sandwich game. Lenny's Philly Cheesesteak sits at number 12, representing good intentions with inconsistent execution. With about 60-plus locations across the Southeast and Texas, Lenny's tries to bring authentic Philly flavors to the masses. When they get the cheesesteak right, properly grilled steak, melted cheese, fresh roll, it's actually pretty good. The problem is quality varies dramatically between locations, and for a chain specializing in Philly cheesesteaks, that inconsistency is a killer. You shouldn't have to wonder if your sandwich will be good or mediocre, especially when they're going through the trouble of shipping bread from Philly. Lenny's has the concept down and clearly cares about authenticity, but execution needs serious work across their footprint. The imported rolls show they understand what makes a real cheesesteak, but they need to apply that same attention to detail to everything else. Port of Sub's large Italian lands at number 11 as a solid West Coast regional player that doesn't quite break through. With about 140-plus locations across 7 western states, primarily Nevada, California, and Arizona, Port of Subs has built a decent following with fresh ingredients and reasonable prices. The Italian features quality meats, fresh vegetables, and bread that's baked daily. They've been around since 1972, starting in Sparks, Nevada, perfecting the sub game for over 50 years. The sandwich is consistently good. Not great, not terrible, just reliably decent. You know exactly what you're getting every time, which has value. The problem is that after 5 decades in business, decent and reliable should have evolved into exceptional. Port of Subs represents the middle of the pack perfectly. Good enough to satisfy hunger, experienced enough to know better, but not memorable enough to create genuine cravings. Penn Station's Chicken Teriyaki rounds out the bottom 5, sitting at number 10 with a concept that works better than expected. With over 300 locations primarily across the Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky, Penn Station differentiates itself by grilling their subs and serving fresh-cut fries. The Chicken Teriyaki is their signature sandwich with grilled chicken and a sweet teriyaki glaze that actually tastes like teriyaki, not sugar water. The grilled preparation adds flavor and texture that most sub shops miss, and those fresh-cut fries are a nice touch that elevates the whole experience. The bread holds up well to the grilling process without getting soggy, and the chicken stays juicy thanks to proper grilling technique. Penn Station proves that sometimes a simple twist on the formula, grilling instead of cold assembly, fresh-cut fries instead of frozen, can create a better overall experience that justifies choosing them over bigger chains. DiBella's Godfather sandwich claims number 9 with Northeast quality that's held back by limited reach. With about 30 to 40 locations across New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, DiBella's represents that authentic Northeast deli experience. The Godfather is loaded with quality Italian meats, capicola, salami, pepperoni, on fresh baked seeded rolls that actually taste like bread should. The meats are sliced fresh, the vegetables are crisp, and the oil and vinegar dressing ties everything together perfectly. When you bite into a DiBella's sub, you taste the difference that quality ingredients make. The problem is scale. With such limited locations, most people will never experience what DiBella's offers. It's excellent food with a tiny footprint, which keeps it from ranking higher despite superior quality. Primo Hoagies. Italian Primo sits at number 8, representing authentic Philadelphia area hoagie culture. With about 120 to 130 locations primarily in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, Primo brings that authentic Philly hoagie experience with seeded rolls that are baked fresh daily and quality Italian meats that taste like they came from a real deli. The Italian Primo features capicola, salami, and provolone on that signature seeded roll with fresh vegetables and proper oil and vinegar. The bread has the right texture, crusty outside, soft inside, and the meat-to-bread ratio is perfect. Primo Hoagies uses the traditional Philadelphia hoagie construction method, where they hollow out some of the bread interior to make room for more filling. It's a technique that real Philly hoagie shops have used for decades, and it prevents the sandwich from becoming a bread bomb while maximizing the good stuff. What sets Primo apart is authenticity. This tastes like what hoagies are supposed to taste like, not some corporate interpretation. The regional reach limits its impact, but for those who have access, it's the real deal that honors Philadelphia sandwich tradition. Jimmy John's Italian nightclub lands at number 7 with speed and decent quality that can't quite overcome portion limitations. With over 2,600 locations nationwide, Jimmy John's has mastered the art of freaky fast delivery and assembly. The Italian nightclub features salami, capicola, cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, mayo, and vinaigrette on fresh baked bread that's actually pretty good. The bread is baked in-store multiple times daily, the vegetables are fresh, and the assembly is consistent across locations. Jimmy John's slices their meats and cheese fresh throughout the day, never using pre-sliced deli products. You can actually watch them slice everything to order, which puts them ahead of chains using pre-packaged ingredients. The problem is that Jimmy John's sandwiches are notoriously thin. You're getting speed and convenience, but not necessarily that filling satisfaction. For a quick lunch that won't weigh you down, Jimmy John's delivers. But when you want a sandwich that feels like a meal, you might leave wanting more substance. Togo's Pastrami Reuben claims the number 6 spot as a West Coast cult favorite that deserves more recognition. With about 120 locations primarily in California, Washington, and Oregon, Togo's has built a loyal following with quality ingredients and signature sauces that actually add flavor instead of masking it. The Pastrami Reuben features thick-cut pastrami, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and Thousand Island dressing on rye bread. The pastrami is the star here. Properly seasoned, tender, and generous portions that make you feel like you're getting your money's worth. They've been perfecting their pastrami recipe since 1971, slow cooking it for hours until it reaches that perfect tender texture. The pastrami has a proper spice crust and smoky flavor that rivals dedicated delis, not the processed stuff you get at most chains. Togo's signature sauces, including their cranberry sauce and pepperoncini, set them apart from generic sub-shops. The bread is fresh, the assembly is careful, and the flavors work together instead of competing. It's a West Coast treasure that more people should experience, held back only by limited geographic reach. Potbelly's Erbert breaks into the top 5 with toasted sandwich perfection when executed properly. With about 400 locations nationwide, Potbelly brings that neighborhood sandwich shop vibe, with toasted subs that actually benefit from the heating process. Erbert features turkey, ham, salami, roast beef, Swiss, and cheddar, basically everything but the kitchen sink. They use a unique toasting oven that heats the sandwich evenly without drying out the bread or overcooking the meat. The process takes exactly 90 seconds at the right temperature to melt the cheese perfectly and warm the meat, creating a cohesive flavor profile that cold subs can't match. The bread gets crispy outside while staying soft inside, and the combination of meats provides complexity without overwhelming any single flavor. What really sets Erbert apart is the balance. With 5 different proteins, it could easily become a mess, but Potbelly's proportions and toasting technique make everything work together. The vintage vibe isn't just decoration either. Potbelly actually plays live music at many locations and maintains that authentic neighborhood feel that makes eating there an experience, not just a transaction. Publix's chicken tender sub secures the number 4 spot. And yes, we know Publix is a grocery store, not a sandwich chain. But their chicken tender sub is so legendary that it absolutely deserves a spot on this list. With over 1,300 Publix stores across the Southeast, each with a full-service deli counter, Publix has created something special. The chicken tender sub features crispy fried chicken tenders, cheese, lettuce, tomato, and mayo on fresh Publix bakery bread. Those chicken tenders are made fresh in-store, the bread is baked daily in Publix bakeries, and the value is incredible. You're getting restaurant-quality fried chicken on a sandwich for grocery store prices. The chicken is crispy, juicy, and properly seasoned. The bread has the perfect texture to handle the substantial filling without falling apart. The customization options are endless, and the deli workers actually care about making your sandwich right. Publix subs have achieved cult status in the Southeast for good reason. They're consistently excellent, incredibly affordable, and made with genuine care. It's grocery store food that beats most restaurant sandwiches. The Schlotzsky's Original claims the number 3 spot with a unique approach that sets it apart from every other chain. With about 300-plus locations primarily across Texas and Oklahoma, Schlotzsky's built their reputation on one thing: that distinctive sourdough bun that's unlike anything else in the sandwich game. The original features turkey, ham, salami, cheddar, mozzarella, lettuce, tomato, onion, and their signature sauce on that famous sourdough bun. The bread is baked fresh daily and has a tangy, complex flavor that elevates everything else on the sandwich. They developed their sourdough recipe in 1971, and it takes 3 days to properly ferment each batch. You can taste the difference in every bite. The fermentation creates natural acids that give the bread its signature tang and also acts as a natural preservative, keeping it fresh longer than regular bread. The meats are quality, the cheese blend works perfectly, and that sourdough bun provides a flavor foundation that makes every bite interesting. The texture contrast between the soft interior and slightly crusty exterior creates a sandwich experience you can't get anywhere else. Schlotzsky's proves that sometimes being different is better than being conventional. The original isn't just a sandwich. It's a unique flavor profile that creates genuine cravings. Jersey Mike's Original Italian earns the number 2 spot with Mike's Way execution that sets the standard for sub-chains. With over 3,000 locations nationwide and rapidly expanding toward 3,500, Jersey Mike's has achieved something remarkable: consistent quality at scale. The Original Italian features provolone, ham, prosciutto, capicuolo, salami, and pepperoni, with onions, lettuce, tomato, oil, vinegar, and spices. Here's what makes Jersey Mike's special. Everything is sliced fresh to order. The meats, the cheese, even the vegetables are prepared fresh throughout the day. The bread is baked fresh daily and has the right texture to handle generous portions without falling apart. The meat quality is consistently high across locations, and the assembly is done with care that you can taste. Jersey Mike's has mastered the art of making every sandwich feel custom-made, while maintaining speed and consistency. The Original Italian delivers authentic flavors with reliable execution that justifies the loyal following. Taking the number 1 spot is Capriotti's Bobbie, and this isn't even close. With about 175-plus locations rapidly expanding nationwide from their Delaware roots, Capriotti's has created something truly special. The Bobbie features roasted turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, and mayo. It's literally Thanksgiving dinner on a roll. Here's why it's number 1. Capriotti's roasts whole turkeys in-store daily, then hand-pulls the meat for each sandwich. You're getting actual roasted turkey, not processed deli meat. The cranberry sauce is made fresh, the stuffing adds texture and flavor, and everything comes together on fresh-baked bread. The Bobbie has been voted America's greatest sandwich multiple times, and one bite explains why. The turkey is moist and flavorful. The cranberry sauce adds sweetness that balances the savory elements, and the stuffing provides that comfort food factor that makes you close your eyes and savor every bite. But here's what really sets Capriotti's apart: consistency. Whether you're in Delaware, Nevada, or anywhere in between, the Bobbie tastes exactly the same. They've maintained quality while expanding, which is incredibly difficult to achieve. The value is excellent, the portions are generous, and the flavor profile is unique in the sandwich world. Capriotti's proves that innovation and quality can coexist with rapid growth. There you have it. Capriotti's Bobbie takes the crown as America's best-tasting sub-sandwich. From the processed mediocrity at the bottom to the fresh ingredient excellence at the top, this ranking shows that quality and innovation still matter to customers. The best chains prioritize fresh ingredients, unique flavor profiles, and consistent execution over gimmicks and marketing. Capriotti's proves that sometimes the best ideas are the simplest ones executed perfectly. What do you think? Did your favorite chain get robbed, or do you agree that the Bobbie deserves the top spot? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more food rankings that settle the debates you didn't know you needed settled.